The year is 2022. Jamaica found its independence in 1962. Coincidentally, as fate would have it, the Peace Corps started its mission formally here in Jamaica that same year. This means in 2022, we will celebrate not only 60 years of this relationship called Peace Corps Jamaica, but also the independence of this island nation called Jamaica. Before we can start to recognize and celebrate this huge milestone, let us explore what the Peace Corps is. In 1961, John F. Kennedy was serving as the 35th President of the United States of America. One of the proposals he made during his campaign was the formation of this organization called the Peace Corps. Once he was elected into office, he made true on his promises and signed the congressional legislation creating a permanent Peace Corps that would promote world peace and friendship across the globe. Less than a year later, Peace Corps Jamaica was set up and had volunteers on the island moving forward with this mission. But let us hear firsthand from Robert O'Brien, who was a part of Group 1, the first set of volunteers on the island. After his service as a volunteer, he fell so in love with Jamaica that he moved to the island with his wife and still resides here 60 years later.
Well, I'm Robert O'Brien. I was born in 1939 in New York. We went through 8 weeks of training in New York. We had a week or two off or something, and then we came here and we were scheduled to have 2 weeks of training at the University of the West Indies. Some of us had been told what our assignment were, and mine and other people in the building trades were assigned to the Kabla Jamaica Youth Corps camp up in Spaldings, near that area. And he said, well, we're going to build an auto mechanic shop over there. We have a little bit of a budget, but we don't have any equipment and whatever. But, my job and one of the other volunteers, Roger, we weren't expecting any facilities because we're builders, right? So, as a matter of fact, the auto mechanic shop, I think Knox College is using that facility, and the buildings we built are there.
As mentioned, the mission of the Peace Corps is to promote world peace and friendship. The Peace Corps execution of this mission is accomplished year after year by focusing on 3 major goals. 1, by helping the people of Jamaica in meeting their need for trained men and women. 2, helping promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the Jamaicans served. And 3, helping to promote a better understanding of Jamaica and Jamaicans on the part of Americans. Due to the pandemic, currently there are no volunteers on the island to show what this relationship and experience is like at the moment. But we can find returning volunteers, partners, and host families that will share their experience and memories with Peace Corps Jamaica.
I'm Patrick Marty. I was a Peace Corps volunteer here in Jamaica from 2010 to 2012. We're here in the yard that I lived in for 2 years, and this is my Jamaican mom, Bumpy. I just call her my mom because she treats me like a son and I treat her like a mom, but while I lived in the yard here for 2 years, she really took care of me, and I come back every year to visit with her. And yeah, she's visited me in America, and we still stay in touch and know what's going on. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Bumpy, you remember the first day I came in the yard?
Yes, never forget that. Yeah, we were, when it was coming up, was a little rain. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I look out and I see you, and you kind of look like a glow. I would say something different about him. Yeah, and then when you come up, we have a talk, and we say something different about you. Mm-hmm. And then you say your mom just died.
Yeah.
And you say, well, you're gonna find one here. And it did happen.
Yeah, man, for true.
Happen.
This is Brian Wedderburn. He's the president of the Westmoreland Organic Farmers Group, and he was one of my supervisors while I was here in Jamaica as a Peace Corps volunteer, and he supervised several Peace Corps volunteers as well. So he can talk to you a bit about Peace Corps.
Meeting my first volunteer, Patrick. I was in the group called the BPC at those times in the communities. We have a lot of projects which we were working on, but I was in charge of the farming area. So meeting Patrick in those days, it was great. because as of growing up in my community, the farmers and the fishers don't really like to deal with administrative work. So Patrick and the volunteer would came along and they would help us mainly in those areas to help us to get along, and it was great.
I was one of 5 different sets of Peace Corps volunteers that lived in this yard, and this is actually my home.
My name is Walter Christos. I live here in Bluefields, Westmoreland, Jamaica. We have been having Peace Corps volunteers since the 90s. They came with the Bluefields People Community Association, which they served here, and later on with the Bluefields Bay Fishermen's Friendly Society.
In 2006, from my recollection, that partnership started. This was with Kerry Eklund. She and her husband, as a matter of fact, we were able to accomplish tremendous amount while she was here. She has passed on a wealth of knowledge. We are a major fundraiser and first marine conference that was ever held in the Bluefields area. She actually worked with us to make that a manifestation.
My name is Dan Malone. I'm the program manager for the agriculture project at Peace Corps Jamaica. I arrived in Jamaica in 2001 as a health volunteer, and I served my 2 years and decided to extend for an additional 1.5 years as a Peace Corps volunteer leader. What I've learned about the Peace Corps process and working with local communities is that, you know, I had my own unique experience, but every volunteer in every community and all the partners are different. So for me, it's important that I really just provide the space, prepare the space, and then let the volunteers and their partners figure it out, just like I did. That's where all the learning happened, in that growth, you know, in that figuring things out. And so for me, it's really important to just provide that safe, supporting environment, and then just kind of watching them and being back there and just seeing, you know, where can you fit in, where can you help? And I think that's what I really get from my Peace Corps service and my partnership with Peace Corps, is that approach to development work.
My name is Jellis Foster Malcolm, Principal, Epping Forest Primary and Infant. They have been very instrumental in the literacy program of this school, and I can attest the growth of our literacy performance to the contributions of Peace Corps volunteers. Also, the whole area of environmental study. Our school has earned a lot of trophies because of, you know, our involvement with the JSIF, the whole environmental works of Jamaica, through the involvement of our Peace Corps volunteers. Well, the relationship with Peace Corps is actually twofold. In fact, I have one particular Peace Corps volunteer. When he completed his tenureship here, he keeps revisiting Jamaica. He comes almost every year. And so I think it has been very beneficial for them. They love the culture, they love the climate here at Epping Forest, they love the community, and they always almost don't want to go back home. And I guess if it wasn't for the love of home and family and their commitment to family, many of them would, you know, stay.
My name is Ronald Blake, and I'm the Executive Director of the Jamaica 4-H Clubs. The Jamaica 4-H Clubs is the youth arm of the Ministry of Agriculture, and our principal role is to get young people in Jamaica to be excited about agriculture with the hope that they will pursue an interest in some aspect of agriculture. In my early days, and it's not as early as the 4-H relationship, but in all my lifetime in 4-H clubs, the Peace Corps volunteers have always been around. And there are some programs that we really accredit to Peace Corps volunteers, and one of the big ones is the environmental program. Remember, I sat down with Alison and we had to work on a primary as well as a secondary project. And one of the natural things that came to mind at the time, we were talking about reforestation. So one of the things she came up with was a national tree planting program. And one of the things about Peace Corps volunteer that a lot of people don't know, and probably one of their strongest and most admirable attribute is their willingness to work by doing. It is part of the philosophical foundation of 4-H clubs that we promote work by doing, that Peace Corps volunteers are not afraid to roll up their muscles. And here was this young teenager, well, not teenager, but because she was in her 20s, coming here. And I remember her loading trucks and unloading them with trees across Jamaica and started the tree planting program. And after 6 months, she came back and she said, "Sir, we need to have a full-fledged program in the 4-H clubs." And of course, she started the 3 R's, recycle, reuse, reduce. And she developed the curriculum for that. She did a lot of work with the Yam Stick project. And then after that, we got another great volunteer, Hans Lechner. And he came, and I think he put on the other flesh on it. And he did the vermicomposting, and we took that across Jamaica. And I must say that there's no more greater relevance today when it comes to agricultural nutrition than the work that he would have done in terms of composting.
Hi, my name is Duan Kiravong. I'm a returned Peace Corps volunteer in Kingston, Jamaica, Group 67. And currently I am working as the CDC Deputy Director for the CDC Caribbean Regional Office at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston. I was an environmental health volunteer and basically did health education and community development. When you see the ad, it's the toughest job you'll ever love. It's very true. It was a very hard 2 years, but I think it was just figuring out how to contribute and what you can offer and building trust with the community that you're working in. I made a lot of great friends that I'm still friends with now, people that I still see. I have Jamaican friends that I'm still connected to, and actually we'll be going over to their house for dinner Monday. So yes, and then there are people in my community that I actually went back to visit and see. So that was really special to go back and see them.
My name is Trevor Clive Chance, and I am the General Service Manager at Peace Corps.
My name is Viola Kane Hall, and I was the PCMO for 28 years. I'm now retired.
My name is Trevor A. Chance, better known as Froggy. Driver messenger and other stuff,
I can say the Peace Corps experience, though, as a staff working with Peace Corps, we intend to be like a family here where staff is concerned. Everybody interact, and also where volunteers are concerned. When volunteers get here, we allow them to feel like they are part of us. And so where staff is concerned, we just don't allow people to feel like they are not a part of us. We have concerns. Persons are sick, persons where you just came, or you just been on the job, you may not know it that much, or you don't understand about Peace Corps. There's always somebody who will find a way to interact with persons and also to let that person feel welcome and feel a part of the family.
One of the things I truly appreciated working with Peace Corps is that I was given the tools to do the job. At no time did I feel left on my own. I could always pick up the phone and there was always somebody at the other end to guide me along if I needed that. I truly appreciated that. And I learned so much. So I just want to say thank you, Peace Corps. I learned so much. I just really appreciate how well Peace Corps prepared you for the job. Be it the training that you probably would need at the time, and any additional training that they think that you will need, you will certainly be getting it.
And when I started, we used to train for Eastern Caribbean. Yeah. So we used to have some big groups, 90, and we have more than one groups per year. So, it was long and wide, and, we had work for different sectors. Agriculture, small business, health, water sanitation, the whole works. And we've been to a lot of parishes, you know, from Hullab. I don't think we've ever been to Clarendon, you know, but St. Catherine, a lot. And, you know, as Viola said, we learn a lot from the volunteers and, you know, the direct hire staff and the local staff. We work like a family.
Happy 60th anniversary, Peace Corps Jamaica.
My name is Glenda Green and I'm the country director for Peace Corps Jamaica. Our mission is peace and friendship. And so when people hear those words, they just sometimes think, oh, that's just kind of flowery. But I think what we represent as an agency and what our volunteers kind of represent is probably a huge asset to the U.S. portfolio. We do what no other U.S. government agency is able to do. We are at the kitchen tables and the schoolhouses, and we have long-term friendships that last decades. And then that's what makes us different. Our volunteers are part of their families, they're part of their communities, and it's lifelong. It's not just the 2 years or the 1 year that the volunteer is here, but it is a lifelong connection. The pandemic has given us an opportunity to really meet the moment. Staff has been very innovative in stepping into the shoes that were traditionally filled by volunteers. We've been working with our partners, with the schools, with teachers, farmers, and so it's been a great opportunity for us to kind of reinvent ourselves, right? And we've met the moment. Hoping to expand our portfolio with some response volunteers. Response volunteers are volunteers with specialized skills, and so they haven't been in country since 2016, so we're excited about having them back. And also expanding our virtual service program.